Oh, we got it. You need to fix the screen. Yep, let's turn on Bannon. Okay, we are live. I've been scolded about the bell. I don't know what's better, the bell or the gavel.
Oh, the bell. We love the bell. We're too rowdy for the gavel.
That's what I
did. I wasn't scolded.
That just sounds like somebody beating up on somebody.
You hit it more than 2-3 times. That's annoying.
Now the bell has turned from nice to annoying. Okay. Well, speaking of annoying, maybe I shouldn't go straight to annoying, but who's been getting the door knockers at their door for Lindsey Graham? I've seen it on social media posted or whatnot. That was on our door this morning. I guess they had a door knocker come out and door knock yesterday. I will tell you though, I mean, it's, he's out there. I mean, because he's got to spend his money on something, so he's going to do that. But when you get these things, look at who, and you get text or you get emails. Always look to see who it's paid for by. So this particular one was paid for by Security is Strength PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SecurityIsStrengthPAC.com. So that's the Lindsey Graham, I guess, PAC or super PAC or whatever they call it. But I assume that's where all your military industrial complex donates all their money and all that kind of good stuff. So now, if y'all just want to know one small interesting technical thing, technically the Greenville GOP is considered a PAC legally. Well, PAC is what's called as a 527 IRS code section 527, which you always hear we talk about are 501c3s, which are nonprofits, and 501c4s, which are they're non-tax deductible, they're tax free, they're non-tax deductible. So if you donate to a C4, but they can get more involved in issue and candidate advocacy things. And you'll notice here in South Carolina, just another further sidebar, a lot of these groups are 501c4s because the C4 in South Carolina can do almost everything. I'm talking about at the state and local level. Federal stuff is completely different. We don't play much in that game in that respect, but the from a C3 or C4 perspective, but a 527 PAC is what the Greenville County Republican Party is considered. And since these candidates are part of the party, these are our candidates, these Republican candidates, this PAC cannot coordinate with Lindsey Graham. The Greenville GOP can take through a campaign account a lot of money and coordinate with the candidates. So that's one difference that we have. I think a statewide candidate, we can get up to $50,000. So I'm telling you this because we want to educate people more about it, but also to see what the state party is doing. Because they don't give us, even on the state executive committee, they don't give us any reporting on what they do in their campaign accounts and all that kind of good, all that stuff. But they can accept money and then they can spend it. So it's a fallacy in the South Carolina state law. So we used to have a law that required some sort of reporting or some sort of levels, and it was found unconstitutional. And I think that back in 2013. And nobody's ever fixed it. I wonder why. I wonder why political people don't want to fix an ability for these groups to be able to do almost unlimited stuff. So I've even talked to the people at the South Carolina Ethics Commission, and they said essentially, we don't report campaign accounts. So the SCGOP has a campaign account. Greenville started here recently a campaign account, but we don't. They tell us not to report it. So we're not even supposed to report that. There's a debate about operating accounts. We at Greenville, because the state ethics commission tells us that we should report operating accounts. We do report that with the state ethics commission every month. But the state party doesn't. And the state party tells other people not to. And says if you get a notice from the state ethics, send it to them and their lawyers will take care of it. So I don't know. There's a little battle and fight going on about that. But certainly campaign accounts, are non-disclosed, and frankly, the folks at the State Ethics Commission told me, we could do whatever we wanted to do, and there's nothing they could do about it. Even above listed, I mean, they wouldn't know. They can't ask us how much we spend on stuff. They can't any of that type of
So
stuff.
there's
So
no taxes that are funded.
there's no tax returns. There's no nothing. It's not disclosed in ethics reports. It's just out there. So that is how some of these things, the big money special interest. I mean, we heard the comment, on Wednesday that, oh, all of my ethics stuff is reported. If I'm getting money from a builder, go look at my state ethics report.
Right.
And I said, well, maybe not. I can sit there and go give $1 million retainer to the lawyer legislator, and it doesn't show up on any ethics report. If somebody wanted to buy the Greenville County Republican Party, they could put a ton of money into our campaign account, and we could hire people. We could do things through there. We could do all kinds of things, and nobody knows about it. So we're not doing it, but it's possible, and I would then predict other people are doing it. So it's out there. It's something we need to know. I want to bring more attention to it, so we shame them into fixing the law. But we are now March 13th. Happy Freaky Friday, or Friday the 13th.
Shalom.
But I'm like, we're halfway through the legislative session because we got till April. We got literally, I think the House is on furlough next week. They did budget week this week. They're on furlough next week. I guess they've got a week off, and then they'll be back. But we essentially have 5 weeks left in the legislative session. And what have we accomplished so far?
Not much.
Not much. Zero.
Actually, the closed primary, shall I move up?
Sure.
Yeah. Closed primaries, which we were concerned about.
Speaking to the mic.
It's one of
Oh, Julie's here. Okay. And we'll do this. And we'll go to Julie to talk about our election integrity stuff.
It's going to be quick.
It's not going to be quick. We're going to hold you on here. Well, maybe it'll be quicker because Terry's here and wants receipts. Give him a minute. He's giving an update.
Yeah. Well, the closed primary is one of our 7 resolutions that we pushed. We have 3 or 4 bills in there that they actually looked at 3310 and 3643, which is what we don't like. 3643, Drew, is I would say the anti-PASCO bill. They had hearings on that. It's got to be a month plus now. And 3310 asking about doing closed primaries. Those are in committee. They had testimony about them. They never debated them, and they're just sitting there. So the only thing we want to do is try to get Jay Jordan, who's the subcommittee chairman who had the testimony, to move that forward, bring it up to committee, and Weston Newton to get that out on the floor. But they're basically, and all the rumor is that they're just sitting on that. So kind of what I said facetiously, that nothing's happening. They're stalling those out.
What's the other one?
There was another one.
What was the one you wanted?
3310 is what we wanted, and then the Freedom Caucus went out and filed another bill. So we got to learn another number.
Yeah,
But
so there's basically there's 4, and it gets confusing. 3310, 3643 are the 2 that they had testimony about. 3643 is the one that's basically designed by Drew McKissick to thwart Pasco's candidacy and his campaign. 3310 is, in my opinion, is okay. It moves forward to close primaries and registration by party, but it still leaves it pretty much open. After the testimony, the Freedom Caucus filed a 3rd one. I think it is to muddy the waters even further.
What was that?
And 5188.
And that was the Freedom Caucus?
Yeah, that doing that is, it's very similar to the 3310, but it even leaves open people who are non-affiliated. It gives them more options. They can walk in on the day and still decide to vote as a Republican or a Democrat or whoever is running.
No,
in front of them.
that's just like anything.
Huh? It's a little bit weird. During the testimony, they had, I would say, a third of the people were there saying that we should not have closed primaries. Because they wanted the option to come in. Now, I want to go out and mess with whatever part I want at whatever time I want.
Yeah.
And so this is them kowtowing to that, the Freedom Caucuses, and so they're allowing them to be able to basically walk in and say, I am now a Republican. I've been independent for the past 20 years, but now I'm a Republican. But it will hold them to that for a while. So,
Did they have a hearing on this new bill?
no, they did not. This was sequential to after they did the 3310, the hearing on that, and so this was the big concern was that they were disenfranchising.
Their favorite word.
Yeah,
The one that was in between there.
Yeah.
Or something.
I'm gonna get there.
Okay, that's.
Okay. To me, that's the gold standard.
That was Joe White's bill.
Joe White's bill.
He just filed it and nothing.
He's filed that for years, and they won't move on that at all. They won't even look at that one, and nobody will co-sponsor it. But the 5188 is their response to all the concerns about us as independents want to be able to come in and have a voice.
So they're responding to concerns, but realizing, you're getting sidetracked with responding to concerns. With the real issue is they're not going to move anything.
Right. That's basically what I'm saying. Both these two bills that they had hearings on, and they should debate them and then move them forward. They're not moving. They're just sitting on them. At least the freedom to give them some credit. Freedom Caucus is saying, let's move these forward. But I think Jay Jordan and Newton are just going to sit on that. So kind of, as I said before, there's nothing happening on that.
So back to the original thing, the Freedom Caucus is saying, rah, 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 we're doing something, but they're ineffective of actually moving anything.
Exactly. They're saying, we're really working hard for you guys, but sorry, our hands are tied.
And we pretty much heard that on Wednesday with our county council member that sat there and said, oh, I'm doing all this stuff, but I can't do anything.
See, that's why when they run, they can say, oh, no, we're
Right.
working.
They campaign on something, but then they realize they actually can't get it done.
It hurts the fact
That's
that Greenville
corrupt.
don't have anybody on the committee.
Who?
Greenville County don't have anybody on
yeah.
the committee.
Well,
No.
Greenville County has nobody on the subcommittee or the committee for that. This bill is stuck in front of them. So we can sit there and we can go to our senator or our congressman and scream all they want, but they're going to say things like, see, committee, and I do about it.
Yeah.
And it's true. There's nothing to do with it. It gets out of committee, but the problem is the people in these committee chairs, we know not even they're not even hiding the fact that they're a Democrat and Republican clothing.
so what we're originally talking about is we have 5 weeks left and essentially nothing's been done. So nothing's been moved on closed primaries. Is anything moved
No,
anywhere?
not really. No.
Tort reform,
Judicial reform, I would say, has moved into the penalty box. 4755, judicial reform actually moved out of the House. It's in the Senate, and it's now basically back into that process on that part of the legislature. So it's in committee. I've heard nothing about them even hearing any testimony about it or anything like
because
that.
Shane Massey, who's the Republican majority leader, has said he does not think we need judicial reform in the state of South Carolina. So now the other thing, and another point of why I'm going to mention that things have not moved, or at least this thing moved, probably knowing that there was an agreement that the Senate wasn't going to do anything, is everybody's waiting on the filing season to start. Filing for all the House members and the other races will be the 16th, Monday at noon, until the 30th at noon. So, or 31st, I guess 30th, whatever. I think it's the 30th. So what they're going to do, they're going to come back for another week, and then they'll know whether they got an opponent or not. If they got an opponent, they may actually do some stuff in the House. If not too many people have an opponent, then they're not going to do anything. And it's, I mean, we have watched this for, a decade now. And it's like all this rah, rah, rah. Speaker of the House comes and speaks at first Monday, in January, talks about all the agenda items, what they're going to do. And then we get to May or, sine die, and nothing has occurred. Virtually nothing has occurred. So, I mean, is anything occurring on pro-life? Really? Nothing. We got 5 weeks left. I mean, have they moved anything with at least the Abortion pills? Nothing.
Question.
What are they moving and spending their time doing?
What are they doing? Partying?
Well, I think
Not much. The question was, what are they doing?
No, the only thing I've heard about is they're working on of course, the big thing is money. So they're working on the budget, and they raise the budget,
Yeah, they raise taxes on us.
taxes and budgets. So that's about it.
There is something they're doing with the tax.
And they don't exactly. I second the motion.
Hold on, one at a time.
The main thing they're doing is drawing a paycheck and retirement.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Paycheck, yes. Retirement, they are part of the retirement program. And why you will see, I think the retirement's based on your last couple of years. You'll see people retire from the House of Representatives and get like a magistrate's job making 6 figures. And then their retirement will be calculated on their last couple of years of salary, but then also the number of years that they were also a House rep. So that's why you see a lot of even non-lawyers that were House reps or senators actually going and become magistrates judges after their tenure. Because who picks the magistrates judges? The lawyer, the same people that they were working with. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Is
Mike.
the 47?
I know you're.
Is the 4755 judicial reform, is that the same as the tort law?
No, it's different.
That's different. What's the tort law?
Tort law, the tort reform stuff that's been talked about thus far, or at least been threatened. I don't know if they're actually going to move anything in regards to tort reform, but most of the tort reform they talk about, from my perspective, is kind of faux tort reform. It's really more to help the insurance companies, because it's pushed by, again, Shane Massey, who works for the insurance companies. He works on the defense side. Right. So you got some lawyers fighting to help the insurance companies. You got some lawyers fighting, in theory, to help the trial lawyers. Nobody's fighting to help the actual citizens. Now, I actually am a tad bit different in the fact that I think, well, there is a reason for tort lawyers and lawyers. I mean, it brings things into compliance. I mean, there's some benefits to that. Now, there may be some things you can fix and tweak around the corner. I'm not of the thought process that all lawyers are horrible, even if they're ambulance chasers and some of that. You do hear some bad stories, but you also do, we have a lot of safety things that are out there because of lawsuits and things like that. Some of them have gone too far, and some of them, some things like that. South Carolina's got a problem with the asbestos side. Lawyers are, getting tons of money through suing through asbestos and all that kind of stuff. So there's things we can do, but my point is, I don't think anybody's looking out for the people down there.
Exactly.
So it's either helping the lawyers or helping the insurance companies, but nobody's going to get there. Grab a mic. Grab a mic.
Whoever chance we get.
I don't think it
Or
will.
grab, pass it.
Take that off yourself.
I may have missed this, but what's happening with small businesses and the liquor licenses and stuff?
Well, that's part of the tort reform thing. Essentially, nothing is happening.
Because where are those small businesses? They should be here. We should be working with them past.
Well, things are happening because the small business are closing.
Yeah,
They're closing. That's what's happening.
Which is the intention.
Yes.
Too busy working. That's why they can't come.
Yeah. Our business closing.
Well,
businesses, I saw it on TV this week. It's really bad, and we can't get our legislators to act on something like that for small business.
Well, I will say that I think David Pasco was up here. There's a tap room that closed. I think it's called the People's Tap Room or something like that. It closed. David Pasco was up here, I think, last weekend. They did some sort of press conference there talking about that. That was with the small venue, whatever their nonprofit or their, small venue bar. So it was something that they were there with. Actually, a guy by the name of, I think his name's Chris Smith, I think it's Chris Smith, was the executive director over there. He was out there trashing us, who actually support his cause. It went with the campaign for Jerry Tussaud. He was supporting the other person. I've never even heard of the guy. He was trashing me because, we're radical with the Greenville GOP supporting Jerry Tussaud. And I'm like, we support your cause, buddy. Like, why? So I've not reached out or met him, but he's actually more on the liberal
But
left
there's an
side.
organization that supports small businesses, and I've seen that startup operations.
Mhm.
Do we have representatives here from them?
From what?
From the small business groups?
Who knows what they are? Diane Hardy.
They're startups to try to get something done for them.
I've seen a couple of those groups out there. I don't see them doing anything for these
We
small
don't see
businesses
it
either.
coming here. That's what I'm saying.
No, because they're some of them attack us. This Chris Smith guy or whatever his name is, Smith, I think, he was attacking us, and we're supportive of this. Diane Hardy has her mom and pop thing. She attacks us. We're supportive of it. I mean, no, this is like what we deal with on pro-life, on school choice. We heard it on Wednesday with Kurt McGahey. I mean, we have groups that are working to try to get and vet and find the best people to put on the library board. And at least we're working together. I told our people, support whatever the Greenville County Republican women put up. That's fine. They got a bigger committee, let them do it. I mean, we could have a bigger committee, but I don't want us fighting with them. We will back them and support them. And guess what? They put somebody up, and Kurt McGahey votes against them because he wants somebody in his district to get on there, as opposed to listening to the people and what the people, that are working on committees that are working on those issues. I'm a big believer in that we build committees and groups that will go and dig deep on an issue and find the right answer. So number one, politicians aren't doing, just patting their friends on the back, and then they don't support what these committees
He
are
made
doing.
that very clear.
Yeah, he did.
That
He
he's
made it.
representing just his people and his.
That's
district.
right.
He's the chairman of the county.
He's not the chairman of the county.
Council.
Benton is.
Yeah.
He's just, he's not chairman of the county council. That's Benton Blunt. But that's what Benton Blunt is, the chairman, and Rick Bradley is the first vice chair. That's why they have to be a little more guarded in what they do to try to pull everybody together. But Kurt was very adamant about, I just care about my people and screw the rest of the county, and I'm gonna put my friends on there.
The whole county, whether he's just running for his little.
They represent,
district or not, He messages to the whole county.
Well, he impacts the whole county.
Listen,
his vote does impact him. Then he's carrying favor with his particular constituents and giving out favors to them
So if you're not a constituent, don't help his.
in his district. That's one of
Yeah,
the,
folks in my district.
that's one of the downfalls of the
You
district.
didn't help me get elected. I did that.
Yeah.
he's focusing on his district until it's, I want to vote on the amphitheater, which is not in my district, but I want to put a positive vote on there. So anything else on that? I want to get to what we're doing on the next.
I just
next
want to do
weekend.
a couple of shameless plugs. You mentioned about like the business of tort reform. I'm chairman of the committee, the legislative committee. Meeting is going to be next Thursday, and we have the 7 resolutions that we've done in Greenville County GOP. We need advocates for all of these resolutions. We've got right to life here with Ray, and if someone in tort, if you know someone in tort reform, we need someone who wants to get on that horse and ride it. So if I'm open to have anybody come to that meeting. So if they don't necessarily have to be here at Coffee and Politics, but I would love to have them come to those meetings and be part of it. We have tools where they can follow their bills. I'm sure if they have a passion, they might be following bills, and we're more than willing to have our resources support them. As Jeff said, we want to support other people. All right. So Thursday at 7:00 next week is our meeting.
And I think AFP are you part of what you're asking is about AFP's deregulation thing?
Well,
Tom Davis was doing something. I saw a reel of his talking about that type of stuff. I think he's the bill sponsor of what they're doing. I don't know if it's moving or not. We can ask them, but we're in full support and willing to help on that side of it. The deregulation of the small businesses. It's a little
I was at
crazy.
meeting last night trying to talk to. She's in Washington D.C.
Must be nice.
Getting some training.
Okay. But if anybody has a passion on anything, they're more than welcome to come to the meeting on Thursday next week.
Meetings at 7, but they sometimes start at 6 if there's
Yeah,
food.
if you want.
Or you bring a sandwich or whatever.
Yeah.
Social hour at 6. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this might be off topic, but
She got a mic.
Right there.
You know you want to ask a question. Grab the mic and then.
Is it on? Turn it.
it might be off topic, and then maybe because I haven't owned a car in 30 years living in Manhattan. But why is this senior paying $300 a year for property tax on my vehicle?
Because you don't have a 1994 Ford, which I only pay about $20.
I got a new Toyota almost 3 years ago. But I mean, as a senior, $300 for the last 3 years, that's another $900 on my car.
Yeah.
How can we stop this?
Did you pay property tax in New York, or you didn't own a car, so you don't know?
That's what I mentioned.
I've heard that there was a property tax on vehicles up there, which I find crazy because I figure they tax everything. Not in New York. So
Well, that's one of my pet peeves is property taxes, period. We need to get rid of property
listen,
taxes.
what they try to do is they encourage you to come here because you got low property taxes on your house, but then they stick you with property taxes on everything else, and this there, and it's just never ending. So the first time I ever saw, how much tax is actually on a gallon of gasoline?
Yeah.
It's a bunch, and I saw it at a gas station one time. They actually put it at the top, and they said, "Here's the price of gas, and here's the taxes that you pay per gallon." And it flipped my lid. I didn't realize.
And then explain what department's over that.
Agriculture, because they're measuring weights
So
and
it's
balances.
important who we vote for.
Yes, that's why the ag race is a big deal.
Also, I don't know if you probably know that a bill went to Henry McMaster about changing income tax brackets for people yesterday. You know about that?
Yes, and I think the issue with that thing, the original version increased taxes like on 75% of the people, I think, and this one only increases taxes on 25% of the people, and lowers it for everybody, other folks. It's it's a problem. You got a mic? I need one of those bells. Do you have a mic? We're going to fix this. I promise you.
Yeah, we might be looking at not having to pay federal income tax this year because the workers did not get a contract with the union, so they're not being funded. They're being refunded. The IRS.
Oh, the IRS is being defunded. No, that's okay.
Perfect.
Listen, as soon as Trump got elected, all the job opportunities. I like looking at job opportunities in the sense of you want to know whether a company is growing or not growing. Go look at their employment section, see if they're hiring people. You figure it out. Soon, I watch kind of the IRS, but I'd like because I'm like that's how we as tax people could anticipate whether they're going to start ramping up audits or what departments they were going to ramp up audits and all that kind of stuff, because they'll start hiring those people early. So, but it was funny. As soon as Trump got elected, all jobs stopped. There was like nothing on the IRS. So I don't know what's going to happen with the IRS, but I don't know if we've got enough tariff money to get rid of the IRS yet. But as Trump has talked about the job increase, they've all been private sector because they've essentially stopped and hiring at the government level, federal government level, and let a bunch of people go. So it's been very interesting to watch. So
we're good.
I
We're going to move on.
I think we're good.
Terry
Terry can get her seat back. What we're going to talk about is events next. We're going to talk about, we got two things. We got something tomorrow and today and tomorrow. So
Oh, it's nice and warm.
it's nice. All right, we're going to put this up. I'm going to add this to this. Look at that. I did it all by myself.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. I probably should have left it with August. But what we have today is we have a tour at 2:00 for the new probate court. The judge is not going to be there. He texted yesterday and said he's got to be down in Columbia. So we got one or two of the deputy judges that are going to walk us through. I think somebody's going to bring a question for them about living wills and transferring some stuff. Fantastic. They were asking me about it. I'm like, well, why don't we just ask them to administer the probate judge? Let them tell you the answer. But we're going to do that at 2. So as soon as we finish here, we'll close up the shop and then head over there. Anybody's welcome to come. We'd love for you to kind of see it and enjoy that. Next, we will have tomorrow. Anybody and everybody is welcome to come. Wear green and support the Republican Party. We're going to walk in the parade. So we do the parade, the Greer Christmas parade every year, and that's always a lot of fun. And I told Terry, I'm like, why don't we do more parades? So we signed up for this thing.
Parade, let me know.
Yes. If you hear of a parade, we will do a parade and we will wear green for Greenville. And apparently when we get done with this, they will have some green beer for us. So they will share. But we're going to line up at 9. Get with Olga, text Olga for the details if you don't know where to go or where we're going to be. But we're going to be in the section with a bunch of other political people. Alan Wilson is supposed to be right behind us. David Pasco is going to be there with the group. They may be all walking with us just to kind of merge us all together. I don't know. They had their own slots, but I think everybody wants to walk with us.
Except Alan, I'm sure he doesn't.
Alan may not. I will say that Paul Dans is supposed to. His wife was supposed to deliver yesterday. I don't think she has yet. So I think they're at 4.99 kids right now. But so it's part. Go back to his joke. But they're trying to get a tractor to pull or something. I mean, they were just doing a tractor pull or something. So I think it's going to be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun. So come on out there. I know Pamela Godwin and Angus are bringing up their truck, and they have one of those hitch things that fits on the back. Put a bunch of flags. We're going to have. Olga got it and dressed him up yesterday.
I know, he looks great.
Can you remove what you added?
Okay. Oh, Olga's got a picture of it.
Well, this
I added it to the stage. I removed this. Add you to the stage. There he is. We have the blow up Trump. Y'all can't
No, he's not
see
on
it.
TV.
He's not up there. But instead of his Christmas hat, Olga got a $8 thing from Amazon, which is a green leprechaun hat, and put that on his head. So we're gonna have the blow up Trump, and then we're gonna have the music playing YMCA.
And I'll donate the $8 for the hat.
You will?
Yeah. Heaven forbid we have to pay for it.
That was not in the
Is it
budget.
on?
This is in the entertainment budget.
There you go.
We made an
We'll pick up
executive
donations today.
for the $8 hat. Yeah, that's about all I want to spend. So that's coming up. That's tomorrow. So and bring kids, bring the grandkids, have fun. I think it's going to be a good time. And I actually think we have our new banners. We have our new banners for the membership drive and all that kind of stuff that we're going to put out front. I think we may bring one of Bill Frady's banners just to it'd be fun. Walk around with Bill Frady, WRD, and then join Greenville GOP, keep Greenville America first. It is downtown Greenville. I guess we're going to find out if they throw anything at us or
But it just won't be us, it'll be all the politicians, so we're good.
My belief is there's going to be a lot more people there that probably support us and get pretty excited about it. So I think it's going to be a fun time. So.
They didn't like it. Oh, and if you have a little flag, bring it, we'll have flags.
Yeah, we'll have little American flags and we'll have some other things. So
You want to be patriotic.
Yeah. So it'll be a lot of fun. So
Oh,
it
no, Ron
should be a
has
good time.
microphone.
I got a mine.
Are you coming? You bringing your grandkids?
I like parades, you know that.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is a kids event.
Yeah.
Downtown Greenville is gonna be alive for kids. And so bring those kids, bring the grandkids. And I want to say, we're not,
Don't move the mic. I'm just talking.
all right. We're not gonna get things thrown at us.
No, I don't think so.
This is a kids event.
Yes.
It won't matter.
Families, bring our families with us.
Yeah.
We'll throw it back.
And,
No, we're not on the road.
Oh, no, we're not throwing.
They can throw it.
You can't throw it.
We're not splinters.
I'm just rebounding.
Rebound.
Children are safe. You're gonna have a good time, and Greenville is gonna light up for activities down there.
Yeah, they are.
So walk with us, and all the ECs out there, bring your grandkids. Okay?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
We're
Whole
just
lot.
having things thrown at us.
All right, but I'm going to add this back to the stage. I'll move Santa or Santa Trump.
No, he's not there yet. He's St. Patty's.
St. Patty Trump. But this is what we have next. Click on it. There we go.
There we go. Yep. It's next Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Next Saturday, we do have a special guest. Julie Baker is going to speak on this. Oh, but next Saturday, a lot of us got involved. A lot of folks, we were involved already because of school choice, but a lot of people got involved because of the stolen election in 2020, right? So election integrity is a big issue. We can talk about all this legislative stuff all day. Most of our election people say it doesn't really matter until we get rid of the machines and all that kind of stuff. So I'm in agreement with that. Obviously, there's been some, and we can add Julie on to speak about it too. But I will tell you this week, in regards to the SC votes folks, you're reading articles about how the state Senate's trying to interfere with who's going to be the new executive director for SC votes, all those types of things. And one of the things that we couldn't quite figure out why the Senate Majority Leader, Shane Massey, wanted to have his influence over SC votes. And the hypothesis is, at least, as proposed by Fitz News, is that they do not want to share the voter records with Department of Justice or whoever's asking for it from the federal level. So a lot of folks have been fighting it and giving those data records. And why would you fight the data records?
Well, wasn't that one gentleman fired because of that?
I think he was fired because he was having an
affair, but I think
affair,
it was also
and
because he wouldn't turn over the records.
there was something to that, but I think they used that, or maybe he was willing to turn the records.
And they didn't want it to.
Yeah, who really? That's what it seems like. They don't want to have those records put out there. But this is going to be at the library down in Fountain Inn. I'm not Fountain Inn, Five Forks in Simpsonville. Let your people know in your precincts, especially the ones down there in Simpsonville. But 10 a.m. to noon, I've seen some of this presentation, but the main thing is the hot election items, the gold standards of election, which is one of our 7 main resolutions that we're out there, and then no electronic or mobile voting. But I'm going to bring on Julie Baker.
Yeah, I'm here. Just remember, it's at the library, so we will have to be gone and done at a certain time.
She's telling me to plug in.
I mean, we've gotten some time in between.
Yes.
Next Saturday, 10 o'clock.
And we are still trying to figure out volume. I plug her in.
Can you hear me?
Volume
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can't hear nothing.
We can hear you.
You can hear me? Oh, wow.
Am I okay, or is that too loud?
That's a little loud.
Way too loud.
Okay.
Try it now, Julie.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Is that a good volume?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Okay,
So
cool.
tell us about what you're doing. Tell us first about you and your title and what you do for the 3rd Congressional District over there in Pickens.
I am the 3rd Congressional District Chair, and I've been working with Jeff and Olga and actually a whole bunch of the counties here in our district to make sure that we can win in 2027. We've already started that work, but that's a separate topic. But I'm also a cybersecurity expert. That was my career. Worked for a lot of the big banks like Citigroup, TD Bank, Deutsche Bank on Wall Street in New York, because I'm originally from New Jersey and from New York, because I lived in New York a number of years. So had a lot of experience in this area. And so part of what Laura is going to do is really going to give you the update on what is latest and greatest information about what's happening. She has a lot of contacts in the Trump administration and in Washington, so she can bring a lot of the latest and greatest news on what's happening. We're also going to do a demo of how to do hand counting with hand-marked, hand-counted paper ballots, that it can be done. It is possible. So if you can get your election officials out, that would be great, so they can actually see, yes, this can be done. It is not impossible. And I'm going to be talking about why electronic voting really sucks and we shouldn't be using it at all, whether it's blockchain or whether it's mobile voting. And there's a new one using lottery scratch-off cards, if you can believe it. So,
oh my God.
Which is actually probably the best of the bunch in terms of the technology. They don't share a lot of information, but what I've seen of it, it's very interesting. They've already tried to push it through in South Dakota, and then there was some pushback and it went back to the drawing board, but it is going to reappear because it is less expensive than what everybody currently has. So that one is definitely a threat, and I'll go through some of the issues with that particular one as well to show how it works, what they're trying to do, and then what some of the vulnerabilities are. So that's what we're going to be talking about. But the demo is going to be very important, to show that you actually can hand count appropriate and do it in the same night. And I also know that in Lancaster County, and they're trying it in Aiken now, they're trying to increase the precinct sizes. So that has two ramifications. Number one, obviously it reduces the number of ECs if you're reducing the number of precincts. So it, it diminishes your ability to get representation from your precinct and your county. But number two, if they make it too big, you can't hand count it in one night. So it has to stay at 1,500. So we have to be able to fight that type of thing. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Is there anything else you wanted me to talk about with this, or?
No, just, I mean, I think, you brought up a good point. I think we need to invite some of the election officials to come and hear it, and just, whether they're believers or not, I think they should be informed about what's going on. We should also invite some of our elected officials so they can see this. I mean, it sounds crazy. Oh, hand count all this stuff. It can be done. My thing, and I'll say it just, for Julie's benefit too, is, I look at Poland. Poland does paper ballots, 38 million people. They hand count them, and they do it on a single day. Now they do it on a Sunday. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Think about that. Sundays, all the schools are available. So you not always, Conway Belange's got a problem trying to find 151 locations here in Greenville. It's not easy, but you got plenty of schools. We got over 100 schools in Greenville. All of them are closed on Sunday. So you have the space. So why cannot we move to that process? And they hand count them, and they get the results that day.
And you get to introduce kids to the process because you go vote after church as a family.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is possible. And what Julie, and I've seen the demo actually down in Florida when they came down there to something I was at down there, and they showed the demo and all that kind of stuff. It is what we need to do if you really want to trust the elections. And, I don't know. I don't have the evidence. I do know Trump obviously feels the way he feels. I certainly believe there's something way too fishy about what is going on in the elections. But if you have 5 or 10 or 20% of the population that thinks there's a problem, and I think, Julie, maybe correct me, the numbers may be even higher now.
They're higher. There's a huge percent, especially in South Carolina, huge percent of the population doesn't accept the elections the way they are.
Yeah. And I've had people tell me that they don't come vote because they don't trust it. Or they don't want to do this because they don't trust the elections. We've got to build confidence back in sometimes to build confidence, you go back to the basics. What's the basics? Paper, handwritten, single day voting and counted there locally. So
that's the only way, because you cannot trust the electronics. You can't.
There's not enough
Mike?
I'm loud enough.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Okay. There's not enough emphasis put on the fact that the Democrats don't trust the elections either. And there's plenty of politicians who said that. They says, hey, we don't want the current system, the mail-in and all that other stuff. They didn't even, during the presidential election, they didn't even elect Harris themselves, right? It was just pushed.
No, I think the big thing was in Texas when, what's that lady's name?
So we should be saying this more. I wish our news media would carry it more, that the Democrats want fair elections. They want one, and that's why it's such a popular thing, and I'm glad Trump's standing his ground.
Well, I think most people
I
want.
want to make a comment. I think it's Democrats.
Mike?
Hit the mic.
That's right.
I think the Democrats don't trust the election system only during their primaries. During the actual election, they love the system.
But the point is, they want fair election when they're doing their election.
Right.
Their elections,
and
when we go to the
rank and
general
file
election,
doesn't feel like they're being fairly represented.
Julie, do you have any update on the Save America Act and how that's going? Have you been following that closely up there?
Yeah, I've been following it. I guess we got to put a lot of pressure on Thune. He is going to bring it to the floor, but he's not going to break the filibuster. I mean, he's not going to allow the filibuster. So it's not going to. It's theater. It's pure theater. It's at this point, I don't know. I'm losing hope that they're actually going to get it passed. Right. But I just don't trust the Rhino Thune. I just don't. And he's not. He doesn't want it passed. He doesn't. I think he depends on it.
And it is sad, but I think there are a lot of legislators. Yeah. That's at the national level, but they depend on being able to, beat the election.
Depend on being able to cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why would Shane Massey allegedly be inserting himself for this Fish News article into SC votes and wanting to keep that data out of the hands of the feds to be able to look at it? Why are they not sharing the data with everyone? Why do we have to pay $2,500 to get the voter rolls for the entire state when I?
That's Alan Wilson. That's Alan Wilson. He's largely responsible for that, and right. Brandon Newton, that little weasel.
So just like there's
one that thought of him like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently our third congressional chair thinks the same thing. So.
Sorry, shouldn't have been on a live stream.
Okay. That's appropriate for this venue. and we don't really care what they say. But these types of theater acts go on in pro-life, tort reform, school choice, closed primaries, and election integrity stuff. So, I mean, that's what we're trying to teach people about. And the theatrics go on in getting rid of the county administrator and all these other types of things. So, well, Julie, we appreciate it. Anything we can do but thank you for at least bringing up the facts that we should, and I think we should all reach out to different elected officials, and we'll try to make an effort through the headquarters here next week to kind of get some elected officials and Conway's office if they want to come see this. So it's their job, so they should want to know what we're talking about, so they don't think we're crazy when we go and say we want this. So
absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely, great.
Well, thank you very much for joining
me, and right. Thanks for having me.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm going to turn my volume off, which it is. Are we working? Does it work? Can you hear me? All right, we're back in business. We did that. Didn't have a big reverb. Production staff knew there would be a problem and said, "Hey, let's." All right.
I need a raise.
Well, yes. Talk to Mary. And our next quarterly meeting is going to be on the 13th. We got to work out a location issue, but we're going to have Curtis Loftus, Danny Ford. He's obviously running for treasurer. I can't wait to see if anybody throws their name in the hat to run against Curtis. I don't think they will, because quite frankly, he's the most popular elected official in this state. If he ran for if he decided to switch and run for governor, I think he'd be elected. I think he win hands down. Obviously, it's a packed field right now on the governor's side. We can talk about that a little bit. We got Danny Ford II. He's the son of the Danny Ford coach that won the national championship but Danny Ford II lives over in Anderson. They have a farm and do all that kind of stuff. He's running for ag commissioner. And if you think about it, just, my mind, you vote on the big stuff and there's a huge drop off on the lower ones because you're like, I don't know who's running for ag secretary, who's our current ag secretary? Anybody know?
Weathers.
Hugh Weathers, look on the gas.
Look on forever.
Yeah, every time you go get gas, it's right there. There's a stamp showing that meter or whatever's been registered. But it's Hugh Weathers, and he's been there since, I don't know, 20-something years or whatever. I don't know if he's ever really had any competition. But if you're kind of getting to the bottom, and then you paid attention to the big money races, the governor and probably the attorney general, and then you get down to ag, I recognize that name, Danny Ford. Just press the button. So, yeah, I know it is the weirdest thing. Over the past month, I think 3 times people have started some social media thing that Danny Ford, the coach, has passed away.
Yep.
And they're like, I saw a sister say something about it. I saw Danny Ford, Jr. or the second say something about it. It's like, no, here's Dad. They put him on playing with the grandkids, and it's like, but there's people out there that try to do that. We will have Paul Dans as well on the 13th, and we will have David Ashley, who's running for 4th congressional district against William Timmons. So it's funny. I've noticed on Timmons, there's David Ashley, whose father had been a president of Clemson University in the old days. And then there's another guy, I don't know his name, that was listed in the Ballotpedia or maybe on the Federal Election Commission website. So there will at least be 3. But this, as people know, this is Timmons has said very publicly this is his last election run for, at least for Congress. He says it's his last election. I don't know if he'll do something else. But certainly in Congress, he had committed apparently at the beginning 10 years in Congress, and everything he's ever indicated to me is he wants to, he's ready to get out and come home and make money or whatever. Because he's
Do a real job, yeah.
apparently he's wasn't either smart enough or he was too.
Will make America great again.
Our new
Oh my God, I love that.
It is
wrong time.
per the clock. It is high noon. Somebody broke our last clock, and we got a replacement clock up there an hour ago, and it's a Donald Trump clock, and it says we will make America great again on the hour. So
No, you just need to say Donald Trump's calling in.
yes, we have Donald Trump calling in.
On the line.
So yes, that was what that was. If we make it to 1, you'll hear it one more time.
Calling in again.
I don't know how we'll do, but we'll have that on the 13th and such. So that'll be fun. So, all right. So that's our event. Come to the parade tomorrow. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll line up at 9. If you got any questions, text Olga 843-901-8035.
That's parking.
Yeah,
How's parking?
they're not in charge of parking, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where. Do you know exactly where we line up?
Yeah, we line up at the triangle, which is.
Speak loud.
We line up, and I'm not from here, so you guys tell me, you should know.
I get lost.
It's called apparently the triangle. It's where Main Street meets Augusta Road on the south side.
Is that on the Army Navy?
Right by the Army.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where the
Yes.
old Army store
Yes,
was.
Army Navy.
And that's all we know. Obviously, we will. You will have to walk through and look for us. We'll have a white pickup truck
Okay.
with our inflatable Trump on the top of it, and we will have GCRP banner.
Okay. And the American flag too, right?
Yeah. And we're gonna be
Green. Well, I'll be wearing a little passport shirt, so.
Where will we meet
After?
So we're walking all the way on Main Street to the Noma Square, which is by Coffee Street.
Oh,
Yeah.
One end of Main Street to the other.
The other.
It's apparently 0.7 of a
Point
mile.
What was point eight? Is it
0.8.
7.8. I guess
Okay.
depending
What's the
where
difference?
we're
It's
gonna
my
be
niece.
lined up.
Yeah,
That's where the end is, and they will have a lot of things to do there.
yeah, because I think the festival is till 8 that night. The parade kicks it off, and then it starts.
And if you've never walked, as long as you can walk that distance, you're not walking at a fast
Fast.
pace because there are dancers and different, people participating that it moves and stops and moves and stops. And since we will have a car, some people will be able to ride in the car, or you can sit on the bed, I guess, in the back. So we have some options for some who will need a break.
Yeah, it's a 4-door truck, so there's some seating in the truck. We can alternate and switch some people in
If
there.
Paul Dance brings a tractor, maybe you can ride on
You can hop on this tractor. So
I don't know how that's going.
I don't know how his wife hasn't had that baby yet. 'Cause
Yeah, I'm wondering.
last time we saw her, she was pretty out there.
She's the most amazingly looking
Today's the day.
pregnant
Probably.
woman I've ever seen in my life. If you have not seen her or you don't know her, she's a ballerina or retired ballerina. She still have pictures of ballerina workouts and poses 9 months pregnant. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But she's nothing like this Donald Trump.
No, there's nothing like
There's
that.
nothing like that.
So,
So, all right, but I think it'll be a fun time and really bring the kids. And
yeah,
I think
it's an
I mean,
all-day event.
that'll be something I think kids will remember, when they get older. Okay, that's events. What's next? Who wants to talk? Who's got an issue or discussion? Pass the mic to the man who wants to speak. Mike,
I don't know.
make sure it's on. Speak loudly into it. Perfect.
Just a little update on what's happening down in Fountain Inn. Yesterday, the Otteray project, which is a 283-acre proposed annexation by Timberland LLC, was withdrawn by them from Fountain Inn prior to city council vote last night. So that's an interesting development. It will probably go back to Greenville County. But with all the money they put into this project already through the years, something's gonna happen. It's just a matter of who, up, where, and when.
So how many acres is it again? It's like
It's
700 or 800
No,
square mile.
283 acres
283. Okay.
with plans for 1,800 dwellings.
Wow.
So,
Single family?
they have done a traffic impact study on this, and all the county roads are gonna have to be widened, which the developers are supposed to do. And it's gonna require 7 traffic lights to be put into the area to handle the flow. So there's been a big, public fight against this, push to stop it. But as we all know, the way Greenville County is, something's gonna happen.
Right.
It's just why, who, when, and where. But that's where we're at. It's been withdrawn.
No, that, Diana's lane. Or Deborah, whatever.
Yeah, I think what he's saying. Yeah, I think they were initially talking about annexing it into Fountain Inn, so Fountain Inn would do the approvals, all that kind of good stuff. But I think if they've withdrawn that annexation bid, I guess, into Fountain Inn, or it's not going to get annexed into Fountain Inn, they can then take the plan to the county to get approved.
It initially started, I think, in 2007 with the county.
Right.
And through different things with the Harper family who owns the land.
Okay.
Things have happened within the family and the county. And so through the years, it's been pushed back. It's been attempted with county before. It looks like it's probably going back way.
Do you think people
between Fountain Inn and the county has more green requirements in development.
So they'll have to
rework the plan and stuff. There is a large lake in the middle of the property, and I saw the proposal that Timberlands LLC made to the city last month at the Planning Commission, and it's quite impressive. They've done a lot of work. Okay, they really want it. I get it. I understand. But right now it's withdrawn from the city and it's back on the table.
Okay.
Are these family homes or are they condominium type?
Yeah, they're single family.
Single family.
It's a mix. It's a mix of a little bit of everything. So, it's something that really has to be looked at. But that's why they're saying within 283 acres, you're going to have 1,800 homes, which I think the average for that is about 4,000 people. So you can figure from there the traffic impact, not to mention everything else with the ecology and everything else. It's a major impact in that community.
Yeah.
It's located, if you're familiar with Levon Road in Simpsonville going towards Woodruff Road, it's east of Levon Road, from Scuppletown Road up to what they call White Road, which is a very minor road.
It's a tough time because of what's it could be a great development. I don't know. We haven't seen it. It sounds like I thought it was closer to 700 acres or something. I don't really know. Maybe the annexation was 700, maybe the developments. But I mean, 1,200 homes and 280, 1,800 homes and 200 some odd acres. That's a lot. A square mile is 640 acres.
Homes, small homes, all kinds of things in there.
Yeah, I mean, it probably mixed all that kind of stuff, but that's a lot of homes, a lot of cars, and a lot of people driving, and road expansions, and then you got to think about schools and all that kind of stuff. So there has to be a lot of planning in it. There's just a huge backlash right now into more development. Folks are tired of it. But ask yourself, why are we having this development? It's because the county and or the city spent a ton of money. Batteries. You can take the batteries from here, but they've spent a ton of money advertising Greenville as the place to come. So we caused our own problem.
Exactly.
you know, and it was fun, you know, think about it. Oh, we're going to put X number of millions of dollars into advertising to get everybody to come here because, you know, some developers wanted to build more stuff here and all this, that type of stuff. And now, but nobody planned for, you know, for the infrastructure, you know, and all that kind of jazz. And even the discussion I had with somebody the other day, you know, they work on like a 10-year or 20-year plan. You know, those plans are not even taking into consideration what the actual growth is. So the plans are even behind. So, I mean, you know, a lot of this is purposeful in the fact that, oh, if your plan says you need X amount of dollars spent on infrastructure, then, oh, where are we going to find the money? Oh, well, let's don't do the growth because, you know, we don't want to have to increase taxes on everybody. So they sit there and overdevelop. And then it's like, oh, well, you know, that was the prior, you know, folks that were in office, you know, I'll fix it for you, reelect me. And, you know, that's, yeah, we heard that on Wednesday. So
Did we just hear that?
we just heard that. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to get people to see is the things we heard Wednesday are the same things that people were told by their predecessors 10 or 20 years ago. We have to stop. I mean, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing, expecting a different
Yeah,
result.
yes, exactly. So if we keep believing, folks, I mean, Donald Trump sat there and said, we can shut down the southern border. We don't need new laws. You know, 10 months now, we've had no crossings of the southern border. Yes, it's fantastic. What was the law they passed to do that? Who knows that law? There wasn't one. But what did Biden tell us for years? What did the Republicans tell us for years? They said, oh, we need legislation. We got to do this, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you don't need, you just need a person with a will to find a way. And Donald Trump is a very willful guy. You know, he's like, he's going to find a way. You know, he found a way with the tariffs. Supreme Court came back and said, can't do it that way, but here's another way you can possibly quite do it. And so he's going to do it a different way. You know, if you're not trying, you're not going to succeed. And we're not trying to solve, you know, the development, you know, stuff. We obviously did not try to get replace Joe Cornell, even though a lot of people campaigned on it. We did not try. He is retiring at age 68, and that's what we're doing. That's not getting rid of Joe Cornell. That's not fulfilling your that. We can talk more about that. We can talk about, if you want to talk about Wednesday, we will, but we are going to have not this coming Friday, but the next Friday. I think that's the March 27th. We're going to have Gary Collins in. Even though I was maybe we shouldn't want more county council members in, because the last one that sat in this chair on Wednesday sat there and called me a loser and an idiot and all that kind of stuff, and a liar and all kinds of things, and a lacking of character. And I mean, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, I offered to have this conversation with him privately, but I think he thought he was going to get a whole gotcha. And, you know, as I think wasn't what Rush Limbaugh said, oh, that's going in the vault. That will go in the vault to come back when he runs for re-election, because I don't think that is not something anybody would ever advise anybody to do. And that's what Kurt McGahey did on Wednesday.
No. Kurt McGahey is two-faced. He sat right there in that chair and produced one face, and then turns around and comes back on Wednesday with a different face.
Yeah. So it was quite interesting. But he did send me a text afterwards saying thanks for having him and speaking to elected officials. Have a nice day. I'm like, I showed it to somebody, and their first comment was, "Is he bipolar?" So it was like complete. I'm like, you don't sit there and say the things he said, and then say, "Oh, thanks for having me."
Yeah.
I really don't get, but we'll get into more of that. We'll take a couple of those things. I think the people that put him up to it weren't too happy because he was questioning ladies.
Got too many conversations going, guys.
They can't hear you. I will say that.
No, we can't. When you're at home, you can't hear anything.
And she watches from home too. So, you know, I don't mind stopping if y'all want to talk about something, but what when he was questioning my character because of a bank transaction I was involved in 2007, I said, so I guess you're not a supporter of Mark Lynch. He's working with the splinters that are all pushed. This was probably pushed by Mark Lynch. So I said, I guess you can't support Mark Lynch because he's a recovering drug addict. And he, I don't think he knew that. I don't know if he did or not. It didn't really matter, but he kind of hemmed and hawed. And they said, as I'm told, we got to pull the tape. but he said he wouldn't support Mark Lynch. So I'm like, okay, well, Mark Lynch, they pushed this guy to do this, and now he's saying he can't support Mark Lynch because he's a recovering drug addict. Because his ethical standards or character standards are so high that it doesn't matter that Mark Lynch is beaten his drug habit. It doesn't matter that Mark Lynch has contributed, probably a ton of money to good causes and done things like that over the years. He's not even, Mark Lynch in Kurt McGahee's mind is not even eligible to be on a county committee, a member of a county committee, because he is a former or recovering drug addict. Based on what he said about me, but then he had to, say that. So grab the mic.
It's dead. The batteries are dead.
I did not, I wasn't here on Wednesday. I had some family issues to take care of, or when Kurt was here. But I heard him at a meeting with the other organization, and he answered my criticism of what the council did with Joe and continuing him. But
Did he answer? So, I mean, you were happy with his answer?
Sorry?
You were happy with his answer?
Well, I'm looking forward. I mean, they did it, and I understood it. I understood it, and fine. They're going to be more careful in the next, a year and a half, that he's going to still be there, right? And I don't know. Anyway, the point of the matter is, I did not hear this. I don't know what you're talking about right now, but I do have it on my phone, and I will re-listen to it. But what I want to say is about Mark Lynch. I don't know anything about what Mark did in the past as far as his whatever. But the point is, I heard him recently on Viva Fry on Rumble. I think it was like an hour and a half interview, and he was absolutely great, in my opinion. And I published it, or I put it on all our feeds. And I'm sorry, Frank, that I did it wrong there. But my feeling is what's going on in Congress affects us right here.
It does.
And Mark, to me, what he said is a man that could really speak for the people. And he's already shown that he has done well.
Use that one, because hold on one second. Okay, but we got to plug it in.
It's on, right?
It is, but it's not plugged in. We have this one plugged in.
I know that.
I can switch it to the white one.
Here, no, I got she can take that.
So is it ready?
Use this one.
Behind you. Where you put the scissors up.
Okay. So
Speak loudly into it. It's on.
My suggestion right now is that we have to save our country, because I think it's just coming apart. And our biggest enemies are the GOP, Rhino Republicans that vote with the Democrats. They vote against us. They vote against the people. And we need all the good people that we can get. And my suggestion is that we have Mark come.
Hey guys. Hey guys. Ron. Y'all can hold on.
Is that we have Mark speak to our group. You just said next month.
He was supposed to meet on the 10th. I'm sorry, on next Wednesday at 10 a.m. He canceled yesterday or Wednesday afternoon. He was supposed to come meet with me and just one other person just to get the conversation going, and he canceled. And the person that was trying to put it together is giving up. It is true. And I'm told you're now taking the mantle to try to get him to come to the table. Yes.
All I want is for all of us to hear what he has to say. This is a man who stood strong during COVID, who doesn't hire illegals. He has a record. I knew Mark. I don't know Mark personally, but I I have gone to meetings that he has organized in Greer with people that were running for office way before I even came here. And he never said anything that I could contradict or I was against. And I'm just feeling that we need to hear him out. We need to be able to ask him questions.
Sure.
We the people,
Sure.
the people need
He
to
has the events, and you've been to him and you've asked him questions, right? Have you been to a Mark Lynch event and asked him a question? Have you been able to?
A couple of months ago when it was in the beginning, and he wasn't as great as he is right now.
Okay, but we're not his campaign. He has campaign events where he speaks. You can go to there. If he wants to speak in front of the Greenville County Republican Party, he needs to come talk to us first. He has refused to talk to leadership of the Greenville County Republican Party. Everybody else that comes and speaks to us talks. Lindsey Graham is not coming. I'm not putting Lindsey Graham because Lindsey Graham does not talk to us. If Lindsey Graham wants to come speak with us, he can talk to us, and then we will create an event so Lindsey Graham can come speak. But Lindsey Graham doesn't speak to us, so we're not creating an event for Lindsey Graham to come speak without us asking him questions of concerns that we have. I want to ask Lindsey Graham why he talked about shooting J6ers in the head. I want to ask him why he wanted to stop the president from having pardon powers because he pardoned the J6ers. I just want to ask him the question. But he's not going to just blindly come and be able to speak to the Greenville County GOP without answering those questions
To you.
to the leadership, to us. So, I mean, Mark Lynch has refused. Mark Lynch, I mean, go through the list of things Mark Lynch has done, but he has to answer the question. He is the one choosing. Don't get mad at the messenger. We have given him the condition of this is what it takes to come speak in front of a Greenville County GOP meeting. If you want to speak in front of the Greenville GOP, come talk to us first. He has refused. Literally, a gentleman tried his butt off for a week and a half, 2 weeks, trying to schedule things back and forth, asking me what days I'm like, here, I'll meet anytime. I'll meet, he brought it up last Friday. I'm like, I'll meet this afternoon. I'll meet. We finally get a date. And then after the Kurt McGahey interview, I think because his people certainly pushed the Kurt McGahey interview and tried the sneak attack of what he thought he was going to do here on Wednesday. That was Mark Lynch. And then I guess asked the right question. If I have a character issue, then you must have a character issue with a man that had a drug addiction. I was involved in a financial transaction. He was involved in taking drugs. I would rather have a financial issue or transaction issue from 20 years ago than a drug addiction. That type of stuff. I know, but have you talked to Mark Lynch? Have you asked Mark Lynch? Then we've given the condition. The condition has not changed since day one. We have reached out to Mark Lynch for a year and a half.
What about the resist?
Because he lies to a lot of, I'll be honest with you, he lies to a lot of other people. He tells people one thing, but we know the issues. We know the concerns.
We have a country.
We do have a country to serve, and that man does not want to save it. He wants his ego stroked. That's what we're learning. Yes, I want everybody to ask. Who's got the mic? Hold on. Let him go. He did have the mic first, and then we'll go to you, and then we'll go back over here.
I do want to remind everybody that last October, the pro-life committee did have him come to give a speech, and questions and answers were allowed after he gave his talk.
Yeah, I mean,
Really? Did I ask that?
yeah. We got one.
If Mark cannot speak to this little group, how is he going to manage the Thunes?
Yeah,
That's right. To manage the Thunes.
He managed the Greenville police during COVID, that they kept coming to his company because they weren't masked or they weren't isolated.
All right, Irene, this is Rebecca Goodman around the corner, honey. You don't see me. If you will listen.
It's Rebecca.
Rebecca, if you will watch the full interview with McGahey on YouTube. Jeff answered a lot or posed a lot of questions requesting McGahee to answer regarding Mark Lynch. If you will watch that to the end, that will answer a lot of your questions.
Okay, I need to watch it.
Yes, to the end.
I haven't.
I was at that pro-life meeting as well. And a lot of notes were taken.
Don't move it. Hold it
A
for a
lot of
second.
big questions were at that time. And I asked one too about pro-life. He couldn't answer what he's done in the state for pro-life. He didn't answer that. Afterwards, I talked to his wife, and the campaign people were around. And I asked him her specifically, to ask her husband, why won't he come and talk to us? And will he do that? She couldn't answer it then. They didn't want to answer it then. And I haven't gotten an answer.
I mean, I've had his campaign people reach out to me saying if I'm willing to, because I think they were younger.
Who is, okay, somebody.
Mark Lynch's campaign, volunteers, or I think they were paid. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come together. I'm willing to talk. And then they even give up. Everybody that has tried to get Mark Lynch to come sit down and talk to somebody who might know and might question him, he's refused. I have, and really understand, I have a responsibility. If we support people, I supported Frank Farmer. We supported Kurt McGahee.
Yeah.
And guess what? Both of them came and talked to us, and both of them apparently lied to us, right? I know Mark Lynch is lying already, and I'm sorry to have to get out there and say this that hard, but I'm tired of Mark Lynch or his supporters or people coming to me saying, Jeff, you need to just let him come speak. He has to be able to talk to us and answer a couple hard questions. And if he can do that, then we put him up in front of everybody. I'm not running his campaign. Yes, we have issues with Lindsey Graham. If Paul Dance comes and talks to us, I don't know.
For understanding, talk about what do you mean we're not running his campaign? Meaning it takes a lot of effort to build what we as a group build. Our people that are involved, the events we put together. We cannot, it's just, we cannot serve people. We want to serve people that appreciate our work. And that applies to every single one of them, not Jeff, not me. To put event together, it's a lot of work. To advertise event, it's a lot of work. We want to work with people that appreciate the effort. We may not agree on issues, we may not agree on things. We just want to put our efforts where they're appreciated. That's all. I don't think this is unfair to us. For us to be working hard to whether put event together and then being accused of things, being accused of stealing money because we buy coffee, by Mark
Lynch's employee accused us of stealing money from the Greenville GOP at the last special meeting.
So, and again, this is not, we understand this is about the country, and they are people that want to save the country, like Paul Dance. And I'm not saying Paul is better than Mark and all, but Paul.
Has there been a debate between these two?
There will be.
They have something scheduled on the 23rd.
But Paul is.
They have something on the 21st down in Hillhead.
Normal. No, we're not friends. We don't put him on the pedestal. Paul is just being normal. We keep the business relationship, his campaign, reach out, keep us posted. We keep them posted. It's just a regular relationship. Keep it like business, right? Who do you want to do business with? Someone who basically will tell you one thing, turn around and be ugly to you. Like
there's a ton of examples. Go ahead.
As a pro-life committee chairman, I was really happy with Mark Lynch. I gave him some information, and he actually read it and incorporated it when he gave the talk. But I only represent one small aspect of what he would be as a congressman. I would very much like for this conversation to happen so we can get these issues aired, but it needs to be more than just pro-life. It needs to be all kinds of different things.
And Liz brings up a good point, and we've kind of said it before. I mean, if he can't handle Jeff Davis or the leadership of the Greenville GOP, let our executive board, let some members here. I don't really care. It doesn't have to be just me. I think what the other gentleman was trying to do was the biblical thing, bring one person, have the bring, smaller group, take it to larger group. I don't really care how many people are there, but it's like, he's got to answer some questions. He has to.
You don't care what size.
I don't care, no. But I'm not saying I'm not going to have our business meeting where he and all of the people that are coming yell all the disruption at our business meeting. Who's doing it? Who is doing the disruption at our business meeting? It's Mark Lynch's supporters.
Same ones that always.
I've asked him personally, because I did run into him at the state convention last May 25. He was in the line registering because he lives in Spartanburg. He was registering for the convention that we were all walking in right behind me. And he said, I want to come speak in front of the Greenville GOP. And I said, you know what you have to do? You got to come sit down and talk with us first. And he said, well, your people are asking me to. I'm like, Mark, I hear you, but you're going to have to come talk to me first. And one of the questions is, you've got to stop your people from saying and doing very nasty things, making threats. One of his supporters was a woman by the name of, what's her name? She's in Spartanburg. The one that got put in. I don't refer to her. Maybe we shouldn't bring up her name. But she was the one. She writes all kinds of stuff on social media. She was threatening everybody. She's got audio tapes of going to all kinds of places threatening people. And she was put into what are they? She was put into custody or whatever by her family because she was carrying a gun around to meetings. She was coming to a meeting one day to and they weren't sure what it was when her family had her committed, because she was either coming to our Coffee and Politics or she was going to the Spartanburg GOP America First group on Saturday. We're not sure. I've sent a FOIA request to the Spartanburg Police Department to find out what day she was committed, because she was either coming here or she was going there. I think she was coming here with a gun, and she saw too many cars there, so they went on and they did go to Stacks Omega for lunch over there with her daughter, right up there on the way to Furman. She was coming here with a gun, and I tell Mark Lynch about that, and he's like, well, I just can't control my people. And my response to him was, then you can't be our U.S. Senator. He has, when you are a leader, if anyone in here was threatening people online, writing nasty stuff, I'm going to have a conversation with you. And I've had those hard conversations with some people before. They've either stopped or they don't come here anymore because I'm not going to tolerate it. That's what leaders do. Mark Lynch is tolerating people making physical threats of violence, which is the same sort of violence that got Charlie Kirk shot. The Democrats say things, assassinated and killed. The Democrats say things that ramp people up. What did Gilda Cobb Hunter, one of the most senior Republicans or Democrats down there at the State House, say about Moms for Liberty this week? She said from the mic that Moms for Liberty was a terrorist organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody with a little off in the mind is going to go shoot and kill or blow up or shoot up a Moms for Liberty meeting if they hear that and they get pushed a little bit too far. Mark Lynch is allowing that with his people. There are some Freedom Caucus people that stir that, because that same woman supported Mark Lynch and supported the Freedom Caucus folks. I hate to be this direct about it, but this is the conversation I've had. He has got to answer those questions. He's got to sit there and make the commitment that safety is an issue. You can't lie. He literally made a post on social media this week. We have issues with Lindsey Graham, right? What if I said Lindsey Graham has a sex offender registration? Is that appropriate? Lindsey Graham does not have a sex offender registration. You can't go look him up and find out that he is a registered sex offender. Mark Lynch wrote that on Twitter this week. He wrote it on Twitter this week. I do not want to be associated with anyone that says that kind of lies. I don't care if it's about Mark Lynch or about Lindsey Graham or Donald Trump or about me. You can't say that stuff. You can't say that about the devil. Maybe the devil does have a registration, but I'm like, but you can't sit there and tell outright lies. It has to stop. That is not a Christian man. That is not somebody I want representing, you know.
It's just.
And if any of these other people that are coming to our meeting were saying that type of stuff, I know there's passion. They get passionate about it. Paul Danz has gotten passionate when Mark Lynch said that his wife was involved in the Epstein stuff, which is not another lie. He got passionate about it when Mark Lynch has a private investigator following his children. That's a question I don't mind having in a public. If Mark Lynch wants to have the conversation in public and say, Mark, why did you sit there and have a private investigator going after this man's children, or say that Lindsey Graham is a registered sex offender? I can prove it's not true. Yes.
Does anybody know how long Mark Lynch has been clean and sober, and did he go to a 12-step program?
I think he's been clean and sober for 40 years, probably. I mean, I think it's a long time.
Go to a 12-step program?
I don't know. I would assume so. I do know he met his wife in whatever program he was in, because she had apparently a drug addiction too. That is okay. It was a long time ago. I get it. It is a character. I mean, it is an issue you have to get comfortable with. You know, I think he has traded his addiction to drugs to an addiction of, I'm a better Christian than everybody else on the planet, and you know, you got to bow down to me.
There's a difference between people that get dry and people that work through their issues in a program.
Yeah, I know, I agree, and that's a valid conversation to have. I'm not holding it all against him, but you know, I mean, he's not answering. He did something this week. I mean, it's like every week, ma'am.
What did you say just a few minutes ago?
Oh, I said he and his wife met in the drug rehab. Yes, I mean, he talks about it.
That's Mark Lynch. But what
Yes.
about Dan's?
Mark?
You had a detective go after the children.
The children, yes.
To
There
find
were,
out where
yes.
they went to school.
yeah, there was a Facebook, there was a Twitter, and the private detective or whoever the guy was said, I'm not going after the kids. We haven't found anything, you know, yada yada. You know, it's these are things people have to understand. Mark Lynch has sat here and made a bigger stink about it. Oh, Jeff's not letting me come speak, and it's, you know, it's not just Jeff's vote. You know, it should be everybody. You know, I get that, you're right, but also I have a responsibility to inform you about these things. And there's a liability thing. I'm trying to get. I mean, you know, after that lady did that, we had to have meetings here. We had to have discussions about it. You know, we had to have debates about, do we send that woman a you know, no trespass notice, or do we want to poke that bear? Or do we not want to poke that bear? Because I really don't want somebody walking. I'm glad we do have some people that carry, and we talked about those types of things for that safety's sake. But we have people that are here by themselves sometimes. You know, we got to be concerned about them. And Mark Lynch isn't concerned enough, number one, about this country to come sit down and talk to us. And he's not concerned enough about the people that are in this building to sit there and say, hey, we're not going to tolerate folks that are sitting there making threats on social media and saying lies, because he's promoting them to do it. And it has to stop. Did you have something?
The end of the story is we don't treat Mark Lynch any different from any other candidate that would walk through this door. If a new candidate comes, we discuss things with them, and then we invite them to a small group, and then we decide if we want them to speak to the group, because we need to.
But we did the same thing with Adam Morgan. We gave Adam Morgan an opportunity to come meet and talk, and we tried and we tried and we tried. He refused. And what happened to Mark? What happened to Adam Morgan?
But we never discourage people from going and seeing these candidates elsewhere.
Yes.
We will not tell you, do not go to this debate with Mark Lynch.
Have I told anybody in here not to vote for Mark Lynch?
No.
I haven't told anybody not to vote for him. I'm not going around telling everybody, if I told you to vote for Paul Danz. You ask me who people are, and I'll tell you, and we'll discuss. But I mean, I'm not telling people who to vote for and what to do. But I've told, there are certain conditions to come speak. Our board has a responsibility. That's why, our board talks about this. That's why they're hot on Mark Lynch has to come talk to us.
I like that.
Which?
I'd like to just.
Did you? I'm sorry. She's been waiting. My bad. She did the right thing. She got the mic. Thank you.
You're welcome. Which is good. And we here should have a vetting process for who we want to support. And it requires him to be honest. And what he is demonstrating with these things that you have been highlighting is a character issue.
Yes.
And this is not the way to save our nation with this kind of character flaw and these kind of behaviors. Sorry about it, but it's not.
No, I agree.
I hear your passion. I have a similar passion, but I also teach, and we talk about it. We're not going to save America by replacing rhinos with future rhinos. We're not going to save America by replacing Lindsey Graham, who doesn't talk to us, with another person who doesn't talk to us and does their own thing.
Exactly.
There are a whole host of other issues that all the people surrounding Mark Lynch they're pretty much Trump haters, and I've seen more nasty stuff written about Donald Trump and Israel and all this type of stuff. And we can debate the Israel thing because we got people on both sides of whether we should be funding them or not funding them, all this kind of stuff. And he's sitting there. You can't be America first and then sit there and be blasting everything America first is about.
Yeah.
That there's just some
Right.
There's just some conversations we have to understand. But I've never told anybody not to go to one of his events. He has a campaign. He's got $5.5 million in his bank account. Go rent a space, put it out on Facebook, and have a meeting. And you can go. But don't ask Jeff Davis to set it up for you. We don't have $5 million.
God, if only. I want to emphasize something that I know August told me many times. And my purpose of going to the pro-life meeting, I'm part of that committee. But my reach out to them was find the things that we can stand on common ground. Let's stop fighting within the conservative group with each other. Just demonize each other.
Yeah.
I'm reaching out, at least with your blessings, to all your blessings, but to reach out with people that come to the table to talk about things we're unified on. Is it pro-life? Can we all stand on that issue? Let's get together on pro-life. We can have these other differences. Keep them. Don't use those to kill the other guy.
Did I? Agreed completely.
Mhm.
But, yes, you, and then I'm going to ask him a question.
On that Israel issue,
Yes.
I am really disturbed by Republicans who are saying we're fighting Israel's war. This is not Israel's war. For 47 years, we've tolerated our American citizens being killed by Iran and its proxies. 47 years of letting this go. President after president after president. I am thankful that we have the commander-in-chief that we have now, finally, a real one, and his team executing this with precision and getting the job done at last.
I do agree. I think the job needs to get done. And the only person I would trust to get that job done is Donald Trump, to go in, get the job done, and get the heck out. They have to, the locals have to fight their own fight.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to, force peace and all that kind of stuff over there. We can sit there and give them an opportunity, but they're going to have to stand up and fight. So, but I'll ask you, did I discourage you or tell you not to have Mark Lynch come to your pro-life committee?
No, absolutely. You told me that it's our show, and if we wanted to have him here, then both you and Olga were both 100% behind it.
Did I come to it and, create a scene or something?
I think the reason we actually missed the event, there was something
else going on. Yeah.
Column.
Yeah. No, there was no trouble at the event.
So I hope that answers the question, but I'll give you the opportunity. Get him to the table. I think it's too late. He should have come to the table a year and a half ago when we first started reaching out.
Never too late.
We can say that, but we got how many days till the election? It's tough.
Actually, Jeff alluded to this earlier. There was a reach out by gentleman that said to reconcile this talk, and he reached out to Mark Lynch. And Mark Lynch actually, and I was actually privy to this meeting. There were two of us with Jeff and Mark. Mark called me to begin with. And said he wanted, his first thing, he gave me his campaign speech. And he said, I want to speak to the Greenville County. So you need to talk to the executive committee and Jeff. And he said, I will not talk to Jeff. He actually did give him credit. We did have a meeting. He did meet. They agreed to meet. If they had any issues, they could call each other. If they had anything, Mark has yet to call me about anything.
He won't. He won't. I reached out 9 days afterwards saying, hey, here's an issue. Here's your employee that sits right outside your door has said this on social media. Can you address it? No response. I sent it to him and Evan Mulch. No response whatsoever.
This is more than a year ago.
This was last September.
Yeah.
Last September, October.
Okay.
Yeah, September, October.
Right. So, but this was a private meeting that we had. We seemed to come to an agreement. There was, I wouldn't say drama, but there was some discussion. They agreed. They'd reach out to each other if there are any issues, and we've heard nothing from the other side.
And I reached out and he refused to respond. So.
And that being said, I think we already spent too much time talking
Yes, talking
about
All right, we have. We need to use the brown one because that was not even plugged in. You just spoke into a mic that's not plugged
Nobody
in.
heard me?
We're
Put that one. Y'all are switching batteries around and all that stuff. But these are the political games. Mark Lynch is not the only guy playing this game. You know, Kurt McGay, he wants to play. Oh, Jeff, this is why nobody will come talk to you. I mean, got reached out afterwards, and that's why Gary's coming. What do we
What
have?
do we have now? Oh, okay. Yeah, Trump will be calling in 15 minutes.
We got a pro-life update. Yeah, we got 15 minutes till Trump's on board.
Yeah, it'll be quick. I finished my my third and final speech on socialism, so should be able to start working on some other projects. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to report. We already talked about earlier that there's been no movement on anything. The only thing I am seeing are alleged pro-life groups sharpshooting other pro-life groups. So the division isn't just within the GOP. It's
everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I've tasked him on, and what I do believe, to your point, which should satisfy all of us, all groups need to come together and talk. The fact that there ought to be like a pro-life group, oversight group or whatever, oversight of all these issues, and say, you know what, you're a pro-life group. You 5 people claim to be pro-life groups. Come to the table, or we don't care what you say or think anymore. Come express what your opinion is. Let's all deal with it. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's reasonably debate it. Let's include as many people that want to be involved in it, but not like, oh, I'm not going to talk to him and I'm going to trash him on social media. And now it becomes this big personal thing. And who loses? The kids, the children, the unborn, preborn, are the ones that lose. It happens in school choice. I've never sat down and talked to Ellen Weaver and those guys. They won't talk because guess what? I have questions to ask them that they can't answer. They have literally this past week, Greg Hembry, chair of Senate Education, talks about how he's going to reduce the ESA kids from 15,000 down to 10,000 because of what Ellen Weaver has done, against the law. She's pushed that stuff. There's 5,000 extra kids that are not going to get scholarships for the ESA, which we don't really support next year because of Ellen Weaver's action. She doesn't want to have that conversation with me. She don't want to have the conversation about the 500 to 700 million that kids have lost over the past decade because of what she's been doing. And she didn't want to have the conversation about the 500 to 700 million that taxpayers have lost because of the tax savings that real school choice programs promote. She doesn't want to have that conversation with me. Mark Lynch doesn't want to have a conversation with me because of things I know and can talk about. Neither did Kurt McGahey. But people that do come to the table, I mean, I'm not unreasonable. I understand this. I have reasonable conversations with Benton Blunt. Benton is chair. He's having to do things as a chair to kind of guide the whole county council. It's probably not even things he might want to do. Maybe, I don't know, but he'll have a reasonable conversation. We may, I don't know anything I've disagreed with him on necessarily. Maybe he could have pushed harder to get rid of Joe Cornell. But I'm willing to have the conversation. and he has a reasonable adult
But I
conversation.
think the difference is the tough questions that Jeff asked, whether it was Benton or Kurt. Some people can just answer, even if we don't agree with the answer. Some people turn it into you're a mean person because God forbid you're challenging me for questions.
I don't think that, I mean, we are not in the weeds. We're going to get in the weeds because I'm going to give these two guys the challenge of looking into the Joe Cornell's contract. And because apparently you can fire him for cause. So we know things that are in it. Let's study the law of cause, of where in a contract you can fire somebody for cause. And I can tell you there's probably a bunch of things Joe Cornell's done or hasn't done that would qualify as being fireable for cause. And they could have found it. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's the way a lawyer thinks. You know, I mean, we've come up with things that probably, when there's a will, we come up with something that's probably not the right way. But but we find it. Yes.
And building on that, I am going to try and get these lobbyists together, probably in 2 different times, so I don't have opposing views across the table from each other. But I'm going to work on that in the near future. What I am having is the week before. April 4th, we'll have a talk on organ harvesting, and that'll be before the party meeting, the week before.
The first Monday in October, they will have that. It's actually Easter Monday. So that's going to be a tough topic on an Easter Monday.
Yeah, I think there's like maybe 3 days out of the whole year that nobody cares about in one way, shape, or form. But and I'm not sure what those 3 days are. Let's see. The following month we'll have Carrie. We'll be giving a talk on assisted suicide and euthanasia, and to try and get a little bit happier. The month after that, we're planning on doing a talk on theology of the body. It's about sexuality, but it's about glorifying the individual, and we'll also try to get that at Christ on Main for additional visibility as well.
So he carries the heavy topics. We have a parade on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're green. Have fun. We bring people in. He runs them off like. We're teasing. You know that. These are the serious topics we have to talk about, and I think about even on ours on the school choice. All the school choice people ought to come together. All the school choice groups. If you claim to be a school choice group, we ought to all be sitting down. And we also ought to have the people who are against school choice sitting down and talking.
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
we should, but why can't people talk?
I mean, I'm going to use an example. Like the school choice that we're supporting is not having an attraction currently at the State House.
Yeah, on the state level, they don't really care.
The school choice we're not supporting, it's out there. Do you see us even trying to waste the time to go and battle the bad school choice or going after people that support the bad school choice? We don't. Some people believe that altogether we can agree with that because we know if we had, let's bring it on all types of school choice in, the good school choice would win because we know it works. So let's do it. You will not see us, and I'm speaking now to show that example. I am not going after people, whether it's in our group, in different counties that support the best school choice. They have to learn themselves. They have to figure it out. So no, when people sadly attack us for our school choice, it's a little frustrating and hurtful because I'm like, just stay in your lane. We need it all, like with the pro-life, right? We want everyone to be on the same page. We probably never will. By why are we battling, you know what I'm talking about. The other group battling you or some legislators. Like, let's stay in your lane, do your advocacy work, and then we can compete.
Right. Because you would think pro-life, everybody on board would say, okay, we're trying to save unborn babies. Why is there so much division? What's the hard question? Because everybody wants it their way.
Exactly.
It's called pride.
Everyone wants to serve multiple masters.
Exactly.
Contrary to what we're told.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I can obey the Bible literally, and I can save lives, and I can make sure women don't go to jail, and I can make sure that we're not going to adversely affect other states. I mean, I don't know how many excuses one guy had. I stopped counting at like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's like every excuse you come up with, you keep pushing saving lives
Do they
further
really
and
want
further
to,
down
they
the
really
list.
want to save lives then?
Yeah, and that's the $1 million
That's the
question.
I'm
And
sorry.
and I actually addressed that at my last talk. You know,
Closer.
are you when we're out at the clinic? Are you there to evangelize people, or are you there to save lives?
Right.
Now, if you can evangelize somebody there, and I don't care what the answer is, but don't tell me you're there to save lives if you're really trying to evangelize people. You know, what's more important to you at that moment?
Exactly. Same like school choice. The bottom line should be helping children, not putting money into your pocket. But then again, that's how Satan works. So division.
Why you're against what we want to do? Your thing doesn't work.
It doesn't work, but you're making more money off of that. So that's why we're going to do that.
Someone else. Why won't you let people do what they want and see what works?
And help the actual children, save unborn babies, and stop having them in your line of crap. That's it. That's my red wagon.
There's a lot. There's politics. There's a lot to be understood about the psychology and the personalities. There's too many things that go on in politics where people down there at the state house, locally, all over the place, are fighting things because they don't like the person who proposed
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the Freedom Caucus. I don't care what bill they put up. It ain't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And that's a personality difference between leadership and the Freedom Caucus. Now, is that right or wrong? I mean, it's wrong. I mean, if they come up with a good bill, they ought to push it.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. It's not. That's what we have to understand, and that's what we should not accept anymore.
Exactly.
We have to stop accepting our leaders, our elected officials, putting personality and all this other stuff first, as opposed to what's right to do by the people. I can't believe that the pro-life people won't come together and have a discussion.
Right.
Yes, I may think you need to sit there and threaten to put women in jail, or give them the death penalty, or I may think you ought to pay for this. Pay. I don't know what the issues are, but people ought to talk about it. I'm not saying I think one way or the other. I'm just saying whoever's advocating for their causes, let's sit down and talk about it, as opposed to I want my bill to go. Look what's going on with freaking closed primaries. We know what Drew McKissick's trying to push.
Oh, yeah.
He's not trying to push closed primaries. He's trying to push a candidate qualification bill. And but what do? We got different bills coming out on the y'all know. Yes, ma'am. Lady with a gun shop and with the used to have a gun shop that has the mic.
Alluding back to the school choice, it boils down to one thing, y'all, really. Do you want the government to be in charge of your children, or do you want private firms to be involved? Private money.
You have learned.
I mean, that's the choice. That's school choice.
Yeah. So how hard is it to decide?
No, really. That's the bottom
So I guess
line.
that whole thing where we were holding the watch right in front of you,
It worked.
rain watch, it finally worked. What? It sometimes works on him, but he breaks it.
He breaks free.
He breaks free every once in a while. What we're doing on school choice, yes, we're watching the government-run program blow up, and you're kind of seeing that. What we're doing is we're focusing on the implementation of Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, which he was talking yesterday. He doesn't call it the One Big Beautiful Bill. He now calls it the Great Big Beautiful Bill. It's like he's renamed it to something else. But there's the implementation of it starts on January 1st of next year. We are signing up schools. If you go to our website, PalmettoKidsFirst.com, you'll find a whole bunch of information on there for schools, parents, and donors. And we're really building that. We've signed up a bunch of schools, and we're really excited about it. So, actually the same gentleman that was trying to set up the meeting with me and Mark and himself, and he actually is a certified mediator, I think. And so and what he was trying to do was just get us together and go through that biblical process, but also the mediation. He is, apparently.
A certified mediator is giving up on getting.
Well, it's like a war, war can be started by one person, but it takes two people, two countries to end a war. You know, that you both have to agree. If Mark's not agreeable, doesn't want a solution, we're not going to get a solution. That's why we haven't gotten a solution, not just for the year and a half we've reached out, but for the almost 5 years we've tried to work a solution with them. But we're implementing the school choice thing. It's very exciting, but that same gentleman is now introducing us to a school that he's affiliated with that has about 600 kids. And I've said, well, we can probably raise between $3 and $7 million for that school through the free market process, through the Trump
called in.
Everybody stand up and salute. That is going to be real
I just need to make a correction for the record. That Otteray project is 823 acres.
Okay.
With 1,800.
Okay,
So the wife was right. I've never experienced that myself. Like yesterday.
Probably this morning. Okay, Lucia's got a mic.
Oh, yes.
I just want to follow on with Rebecca. It is never a good idea to put the government in charge of things that they were not originally given the mandate to be in charge of.
Exactly.
Education being one that has been far too long in their hands. And to have an education bill that will somehow keep them tied in is a foolish thing to do.
Right.
It needs to be private sector. I have been saying for about 3 decades, we need to reprivatize all schools. No government. It's a bad idea.
Totally agree.
And we're
Totally agree.
seeing the result of having had government schools for all this time.
Yeah.
Look what's going on. It's
Yeah, the kids are
ridiculous.
dumb, but they're indoctrinated.
They're indoctrinated.
And we're
They're not
spending a
taught.
lot of money for it.
And we need
A lot.
an informed electorate. That's not what we're getting out of these government schools.
Yep.
Sad but
Exactly.
true.
All right, we have a tour to go to.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, we do have a tour.
We're trouble with
Any
all
more
of it.
questions? Anything we missed?
There's Frank.
Thank you.
Skull, you miss anything? All right. Do we have?
Motion to adjourn. I
It's
second.
debatable.
No.
We're out.
Don't need a second.
Watch out for the Lindsey Graham people knocking on doors this weekend in a neighborhood near you. See you next week and see the rest of you at the tour.